Back when I was in the military, I loved playing with night vision equipment, but now you can get it on your Cadillac, or at least the one I'm driving now, so we'll be looking at this feature a little bit later on in the video. Don't go away. Well, this nasty wind just blew over a tree in front of our complex and almost hit my nice fancy Cadillac. I don't think Cadillac would be too happy getting it back with a tree in the roof. But I'm a lucky guy, it missed. I'm so lucky I think I'll buy a lottery ticket today. Well, we're at our test facility. You already know what we're rolling out to test today because I just showed you under the tree. A nice brand new 2021 Cadillac XT5 SUV. You know this paint is not black, it's actually metallic blue. Looks black from almost every angle though. The base price of an XT5 runs around 44 grand, but this one's loaded up with everything, so it's a bit more. This is the premium luxury all-wheel drive, starting at a bit more than the 44 grand. And here's all the options, a lot of things we really don't need, but always end up getting anyway. But wait, there's more. Oh yeah, more. 68 grand plus tax and license. If you like large SUVs with big price tags, you need to see our video on the Ford Expedition. 80,000 bucks for this baby. We have a link for that video at the end of this video. Or you can move up to the Cadillac XT6. We'll have that video there too. You're getting 3 videos for the price of 1, which is free. There's 2 things I want to do when I get a vehicle. First, I want to check and see if there's a spare tire. On an SUV, that's almost mandatory. I mean, a lot of people take these off-road. Get a flat, you need a spare, right? No spare here. Lots of storage, though. And let's look underneath. Nope. No spare at all. To me, this is totally unacceptable, but you can always get a spare tire and wheel after you buy the vehicle. Put it back here if you're going out of town on an interstate trip or off-road. The second thing we do is to take the headlights out and see how they work. It looks like we have a night vision system we'll have to test too in the dark. And here's what the rear view camera looks like in the dark. Seem to have a lot of choices here. There's my backyard. Shows up more clear for me than it does on you because I'm using a cheap camera. It looks really good in daytime, but this is nighttime. Can't show you that. And down here on the instrument cluster, we have the night vision. This looks like thermal, heat seeking. That means it can see through smoke and fog. Of course, that doesn't mean other people will see you if they're driving in smoke or fog, which means you shouldn't be driving in smoke or fog anyway. But if you are, I guess this would be useful. The only disadvantage I can see is you have to take your eyes off the road. Well, we're getting something for our, was it 67 grand on the window sticker? We can read the Walgreens sign here. And if you look at the cars, they're bright white because of the heat it's picking up from the engine and the tires. Okay, that's enough of play toys. Get back to driving. I just had to turn it back on. Okay, now we're done. I promise. The base engine is a 2-liter turbo, putting out 237 horsepower, rate 22 in the city, 29 mpg on the highway. which I find to be insulting for the Cadillac brand. I mean, come on, make an engine like that. But with the fuel economy requirements of the federal government, they have to put it in to please the government, a lot less for the customer. Do yourself a favor and get the 3.6 liter V6 seen here, 310 horsepower, 19 mpg in the city, 26 on the highway, and two-wheel drive, or 18 to 26 with all-wheel drive like we have here. Look, here's the bottom line. This is a big vehicle designed to carry lots of cargo and passengers. This V6 does the job. Little four-cylinder, not so much. So get yourself the V6 and do yourself a favor. If you can afford a Cadillac, you can afford the bigger engine, right? Let's crawl inside the cabin and take a peek. Design-wise, I don't have too many complaints. The glove box is rather large. You can put a lot of stuff in there. The climate controls, very simple to use. Air-conditioned seats, heated seats at the press of a button. No scrolling through a fancy menu like we get in a lot of the German cars. A decent-sized infotainment screen. A nice gauge cluster, which is showing a lot of glare because we have a bad weather day. It's more the camera's fault than the vehicle. And by the way, for the past 500 miles, 20.7 mpg, we'll be doing some other tests as the video rolls along. There's a drive mode control right there. Gives you touring for a soft ride, all-wheel drive for traction, sport if you're in a hurry, and off-road. I'm not sure what the off-road does, but if I'm taking off-road, I think I'd want a spare tire. Are you listening, Cadillac? I don't like walking home if I get a flat. The shifter I have mixed emotions about. Someone at GM loves BMWs because they basically copy the BMW swizzle stick shifter. It's fancy, it works once you learn the curve, but a push-button system would be far better, in my opinion. To each their own. One of the biggest complaints about the XT5 that have been voiced by other testers had to do with the cheap plastics used in the cabin, and unfortunately I'm going to have to agree. Doesn't look any fancier than what we get on the entry-level Chevrolets. I know Cadillac doesn't want me to say that, but everyone else is saying it, so, and it's true. Now, if this was a tan interior instead of black, it might look a little bit better. These dark shades never do much, make it look like a taxi cab. But they could spend a little bit more money on these cabins, but the accountants just won't let them, obviously. Okay, first half of the video is over. That was show and tell. Let's go out and do some driving. That's what we're here for. Unlike other YouTube testers, I just show them in the driveway and maybe take it around the block. How they get views doing that garbage, I'll never know. That's why you need to watch my channel and ignore them. As we do in all my videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps around 20 miles per hour. See how the suspension performs on impact. Here comes bump number one. We do have this in the touring mode, by the way. That was smooth enough. Number two. Number three. Here comes the nasty one. Not bad. That's the new marijuana manufacturing plant that just moved in. Bigger than a Walmart. Smells like they got some good weed in there. Not that I would use it. Devil's weed. Let's do that again, but let's try the sport mode, which means a stiffer suspension. Number one. Slightly more of an impact, nothing serious. Number two. Still pretty smooth. Number three. And let's run over all the marijuana boxes. I didn't see much difference. Both are comfortable. I don't see much difference in the power steering, whether in the touring or sport mode. The feedback is more like a pickup truck, but we're kind of like driving a pickup truck, aren't we? I don't think any owners will really complain. Before we leave, this is the super duper nasty speed bump. I never use this one because I did it on a dually pickup truck once, and you know how stiff the suspensions are. Those are with an empty bed. Almost knocked the fillings out of my teeth, but let's give it a go. I think we can make it. Not bad. I would say this is a very smooth riding vehicle. That is with the adaptive suspension that you don't get on the base model. That's where we're paying 67 grand here. This 3.6 liter engine has plenty of power. Let's do a 0 to 60 run in the sport all-wheel drive mode. I just want to take a pause and talk about this 3.6 liter V6 engine. There's some YouTube guys out there, so-called experts, Scotty and the Car Wizard and those guys telling you what a piece of junk this engine is, and it's not true. Talk to a Chevy mechanic and they'll tell you the same thing. These are very sensitive to lubrication. Keep the oil changed every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, or use synthetic. You're going to get an easy 150,000, 170,000 miles off this engine, and which is about all you should expect off an engine anyway. After that, it's time to trade the car in. If you do not lubricate the engine, run dirty oil, all the parts stretch out, then you'll have some problems. It's the maintenance that's not done that's the problem from owners who don't care. Overall, this is still a pretty good engine. Works pretty good in the Camaro, too. We're going to take a highway trip, see what type of fuel economy we get, and pardon the dust, but this is the desert, and it's windy outside, and I got dust all over the interior. And you wipe it off, it just pops up again. This Caddy's a nice highway cruiser. Smooth, quiet, comfortable. I'm really surprised the wind noise is so low. Unusual for a big monster vehicle like this. A great SUV for long trips. We just got off the freeway. I'm going to pull over and see what the fuel economy reading is. 125 miles, 25.0 mpg. Not bad for a big rig like this. And this vehicle was in the fleet for 2,352 miles, averaging 20.6 mpg. Again, more than reasonable. So what's my take on this Cadillac? The vehicle itself I like. It's good looking, very smooth ride, a good daily driver. I really don't have any complaints per se. The only negative thing I have to say is they think for the price we're paying we deserve a fancier interior, but maybe we'll get that next year. Here's some video test links of other vehicles we've driven and did videos on. Just click and watch. And yes, we do have a nice view here, but unfortunately San Javier is closed because of the virus, so can't take you inside for a peek. Maybe next time.